Well, good morning, everybody. I hope all of you are having a great morning. Um, Today, we are going to continue with our exercises. And these exercises are part of the unit which is entitled Into the Deep Ocean Exploration. So all these exercises are related to the reading passage that we took earlier on ocean exploration. So let's continue, from the place where we stopped, and we did not do exercise H last time. Now we have to, do it. So let's just take a look at this exercise. See, the title is word forms. Yeah. So, and the focus here is on nouns. We do have other word forms, but the focus is on nouns. Anyway, these are some common noun suffixes. So these are suffixes. What are suffixes? First of all, we have to know what suffixes are. So we have additions to words which are called prefixes and others which are called suffixes. We find suffixes at the beginning of a word, like when you say legal. Legal means something that is accepted by law. And then if we want to change it into the opposite, we add IL to it and it becomes illegal. So this beginning, the IL, is considered a prefix. So, and it gives the opposite meaning to the word. So prefixes do changes. Usually what they do is that they give the opposite meaning of the word before the prefix. Now suffixes are added not at the beginning, they're added at the end of the word. And they have, let me say, they have different jobs to do depending on the suffix, but what it does here, as you can see, is change the part of speech of the word. Like it changes the word itself from a verb to a noun, or from a noun to an adjective, as you can see. Take a look, for example, at this word. Why I chose this one, rough, is because it has all four divisions. All right. Once it's a verb, rough. For example, he roughened the surface. He made it rough. This is a verb in the past. Roughness is the noun. The roughness of the street, kind of, hurt the car, or allowed the car to break down, or something like that, or got it, kind of, it hurt the tire, or something of that kind. All right. So, and then we have rough as an adjective. Sometimes I might describe somebody as rough. All right. Or I might describe a surface as rough, not smooth, the opposite of smooth. And roughly is the way something is done. So he spoke roughly to his daughter. Okay, so an adverb, it's an addition to a verb. It describes the verb. All right. So basically, as you can see, there are different additions here. We have rough without an addition. Then we have to make it a noun. We have ness. So ness does, change some words into nouns when they're added. And then we have, again, rough, which just looks like this. But how do we know when it's an adjective and when it's a verb? Of course, guys, it has to do with where it's placed. When I say this is a rough surface, so rough here is before the noun in a way where it describes it, and then there is preceded by rough. Okay, and here we have ly. Usually ly is added, to a word to make it into an adverb. Not all adverbs, I'm sorry, end in ly, but many of them do. All right, yeah, and it's used to describe here the way something is done. All right, or a verb is done. So basically, guys, we have lots of nouns with, different kinds of nouns. I mean, some of them end in er, like reminder. Some of them end in ar, such as beggar. Some of them end in or, such as advisor. Of course, you have to know the meanings of all these words. All right, they are all nouns. Look them up from the, look them up in the dictionary. I'm sorry. They should be, most of them are ones that we have discussed, or you came across before. They're not like that difficult or difficult words. IST could be also an ending to a certain noun, like scientist. Okay, pianist, probably, you know, another one. MENT, as you can see, equipment. Okay, see here it ends with MENT. Other nouns end with ION, SION, TION, ATION. The first one, ION, religion. And then we have SION, we have decision. TION, look here, here it is, separation. So, and the last noun that ends with ATION is realization, all right? So, again, look them up, guys. We have Y, nouns ending with Y, such as discovery. We have certain nouns ending with ITY. We have diversity. Some words ending with NESS, like loneliness. And we have some nouns ending with ANCE, such as acceptance. Like I said, you have to know the meanings of all these words, and I want you to look them up. I'm going to give special attention to these, though. Okay, let's just take a look at the words that we have here. We have the word trade, right? Trade is to you trade goods here, right? Or to exchange. So you might exchange something with your friend. You say, I traded my book for a pen. Like you gave your book to your friend and your friend gave you a pen instead. That's called trading, all right? And then there's, you know, the noun, and the noun of it is either trade, the process itself of doing this action, or trader, you know, the person who does this action, right? Like teacher, all right? We have the word enclose. You know, this is a verb, right? To enclose, that is to put inside a box or behind a fence or in a cage, you know. The idea is to put something inside of something that you could close. To enclose, to close, that's what it means. To put something inside something and close it. So you enclose a letter. I enclosed my letter in the envelope, or in an envelope to send to the post office, probably, you know. Enclosure is the process of, you know, doing that, or it could describe something that, you know, is closed. You can call it an enclosure, all right? We have enclosed is a description of something that is behind, you know, bars, or inside a cage, or inside a box, or inside, you know, something that could be closed. So the prisoner is enclosed in prison, probably. Okay, the animals are enclosed in the farm, probably, something like that. So then we have the word descend as a verb. Descend. To descend into the ocean is not something, you know, let me say, exciting. All right, to descend, to go down. That's what it means here. The descent here is a noun. See, there's a T that made all the difference. The descent, okay? The descent was easy. You might describe it as easy. So here it's a noun. See, it's preceded by the in my sentence, my oral sentence. Then we have the word density. Density. We talked about this before. We said the density of the water was checked when the scientists, you know, decided to explore the ocean. You know how thick it is. You know, sometimes we might describe cream as dense. You know, thick. And densely here is an adverb, okay? It was made densely, or in a dense manner, see? All right, the way it was made. Then we have the verb diversify, you know, to make, you know, diverse, to make different, to have different elements and different, you know, not the same. She diversified, probably, you know, her room, probably made changes to it and had different kinds of elements in it. Diversity is a noun here, and, you know, probably you might say something like the American society is diverse. It has a diversity of people, you know. Diverse, something that could be described as diverse here as an adjective. So Americans are a diverse nation. Um, they come from different backgrounds, etc. Rough as a verb here, like I just gave you the example of rough. Probably, you know, he roughened the surface, all right? Roughness as a noun, you know, the roughness of the father made the children afraid of him, probably. This is another way to use rough because it has more than one meaning. And then we have rough as an adjective. Like I said, you can say something like her father is rough, I'm sorry. The surface is rough. And when it with the father, it means, you know, tough, okay? Not easy to handle. And with the surface, it's not, you know, smooth. All right. And roughly, probably, you know, like roughly could be like it could be related to time also. He came in at, you know, roughly 5 o'clock. So here it's to describe the time that he came in. All right, like, and roughly here means around. So it could have different meanings sometimes, but it's to describe, you know, the verb over here. Surround, to be around. Maybe the kids surrounded their teacher. You could say something like that, you know, to be around. You know, little ones like being around with the teacher and while grading and, you know, preparing to give them sweets or candies and stuff. Surroundings, you know, is a noun, and it's here, it's plural, you know. For example, I might say something like, you know, my surroundings are trees, tables, chairs, you know, what is around me, the things that are around me. Surrounded here could be used as an adjective, right? um, surrounded elements, we might say over here, all right? Surrounded elements. So here, when it precedes a noun like that, it is considered an adjective. Alrighty, let's move on to the sentences and try to complete them using these words in the table. But before that, I want to say something about the, you know, the empty boxes or the ones that are colored black or dark. This means that the word tray does not have an adjective in English, and it does not have an adverb. The word enclosed has a noun, has an adjective, but does not have an adverb. Descend has a noun. Here it is. We talked about it, but does not have an adjective and an adverb, and so on. So not every verb in English has a noun. Not every noun has an adjective. Not every adjective has an you know, this is just how it is in English, all right? So how do we know? Well, you know, the more you read the language, the more that you listen to people speaking the language, the more that this will be easy for you to understand because they're not used, you know, if they're not there. Alrighty, number one, we have Japan. Sentence one, Japan and America. What do they do with each other? What could they possibly do? So this is the subject, Japan and America, and they trade with each other. Let's move on. That is, you know, Japan, you know, like, you know, exports to America, and then, you know, it imports certain things, you know, from America. A lake is an enclosed body of water. Yes, it's enclosed. It's an enclosed body of water. That's what a lake is. So we describe it as enclosed body. Body is a noun, and this is an adjective here. This is what a lake is. So Beebe, sentence three, Beebe and Barton made a what? We need a proper noun here. So we go to the words from here and choose a suitable one. So Beebe and Barton made a what? Of half a mile. So it's a descent, you know, like going down into the ocean and diving, you know, that's what they did. They went down into the ocean, you know, using their submersible. Steel is a very what? Dense material. What could it be besides, you know, dense? All right. There is great what? Like, I wouldn't mind if you said rough material, okay? I would accept it. I would not say no to it, but we know that the material that it's made of is dense. There is great diversity in the population of fish in the ocean. There is great diversity, okay? Yeah, because there are, we have octopuses, we have sharks, we have swordfish, we have catfish, etc. So her father spoke. How did he speak? Roughly. We need an adverb here, right? Okay, to her because he was angry. You know, when fathers are angry sometimes, you know, yeah, they speak to their children roughly, although they're not the reason for their anger. Open-minded fathers don't do that. They try to, you know, like isolate themselves until they cool down before they kind of deal with the family, and that's, you know, better to do than, you know, take your anger out at your children when they have nothing to do with why you're angry. So let's move on to sentence 7. It is not unusual for fish to surround divers. Yeah. So to what? To surround. The verb is surround here. So when a diver, you know, goes into the ocean or into a pool of water and there is fish, you know, what fish do is they come to see what is going on and they surround the diver. All right, I think we're done with this page, right? Yeah, we are. So let's move on to the next page, which is page 48. We have more exercises here. We have to take a closer look at this exercise, which is an exercise that has to do with prepositions. Alrighty. So prepositions precede nouns, as you can see. So every time you have a preposition, take a look. We have the earth. We have one place. We have the ocean floor. The late 18th century. We have helmet. Look, water, seawater, ship, depth. See, these are all nouns. So prepositions, just like Arabic, you know, they precede nouns. Of course, we can have an article before. We can have an adjective or a word of description before the noun as well, and that's fine. But this is where we find prepositions, and we have to use them according to what they mean in the sentence, right? So let's do the first one. They're already done for you, as you can see, but still we will read them together. So salt water covers roughly 71% of the Earth's surface. So not all of it, 71 of the whole, you know, Earth's surface. All right, so of is used to show like, you know, partial covering here. The ocean was a way to get from one place to another. So from, like the beginning point, from a place to another. All right, yeah. Then we have sentence 3, the temperature. What temperature am I talking about? The temperature on the ocean floor. All right, you know, the floor of the ocean, the bottom part. All right, so varies from one place to another. Remember, guys, we said that it does vary from one place to another because of the vents, because, you know, some areas have vents while others don't. So yeah, those areas that have vents, the openings, or that allow hot water above 200 degrees Fahrenheit, you know, to come out of them, you know, because underneath is like a volcanic area or a volcano, let me say. Yeah, it's going to be really, you know, let me say, hot in terms of the temperature and high. So diving suits in which century? In the late 18th century, were difficult to move around. And yeah, we said that before, because first of all, the first diving suit was the, you know, made to look like, you know, a cylinder. And then they had this, you know, suit which had a helmet, which was a bit better than the one before. But still, you know, the diving suits themselves, you know, they went through a lot of changes and developments. Sentence 5, air, which air? From above the surface, because it's from there, traveled through a tube. Remember the tube that the diver wore? You know, like the suit that had a tube, you know, stuck onto the helmet, you know. So through a tube into the helmet. So it came from above the surface, from a place into inside. That means the helmet. Then we have sentence 6. Scientists tested the density of course, seawater. All right. A heavy chain connected the ball to a ship above. So we're talking here, or the writer is talking about, of the sentence is talking about the first submersible. You know, it was let down. You know, it's like it's a ball, a steel ball, and it's connected to a chain. And the chain is where, guys, you know, it comes from the ship. All right. So a heavy chain connected the ball to a ship above. All right. So that's how it is connected. Even at this great depth, okay, at this great depth, we're talking about, you know, an area here, all right, or a position. At this great depth, the explorers discovered new life forms. Okay, yeah, so this is the best answer. And let's move on to the next exercise, which has to do with articles. sometimes, we're not going to talk about all kinds of articles, but we're going to talk about the article the here and in specific places or specific uses of it. So sometimes the article the, we know that we use the article the in general, guys, to talk about, something specific, okay? Not in general, not, it's not something to choose from, all right? So that's the general use of the. When you know what you're talking about, when the listener and the reader know that what they're talking about, or they specify something, and that's why we use the in our like before a certain noun, because articles are used before nouns. Alrighty. So, but here we're talking about the when it's used with certain names. Okay. So some certain names are preceded by the in a fixed manner. Let me say, wherever we find these names, the should precede them. It's like it's part of the whole name. So when is that, the case? Certain countries do not include the in the name, but certain countries do. All right. When do countries have the as part of the name? When, the name of the country itself is made of divisions, like more than one word, like United States of America. We have more than one word, for the name. And so the United States of America, the is part of the name. Or we can say the United States, still we have two words. Or you can say the USA, and every letter here, U and S and A, stands for, a word. And even when you say the US, also the same takes place. U refers to United and S refers to states. So we have the as part of the name in all these cases. Again, we have the name of the country, United Arab Emirates. It's made of, more than one word. So it's preceded by the in a fixed manner. It's part of the name. So the United Arab Emirates, right? Again, United Kingdom, made of more than one word. Okay, we can say Britain, all right, we can say that. But I mean, when it comes to United Kingdom, we have to say the United Kingdom. Dominican Republic, the same, two words, the Dominican Republic. Then we have the Netherlands. Well, you can memorize this because, it has the S at the end. It's like it's plural. Okay, that's a different case. It's made of really, like one word, but you can memorize it because of that. Okay, let's move on to the second part, major points on the earth. So some major parts on the earth, they also have the as part of their name. And the is, like at the beginning, we have the North Pole. It's a major part on earth, the South Pole, the equator, like the middle part of the globe. It's called the equator. In Arabic, we call it Khatt al-Istiwa. Three, we also have the as part of nouns or names of the plurals of islands, plurals of lakes, and plurals of mountains. So you can see Canary Islands. There's the S, as you can see here, which shows that it's plural, not one island. There are several islands. So the Canary Islands. Here again, the word lake, you see, has lakes, because not one lake, Great Lakes, several lakes. So we have the. Himalaya mountains. We're not talking about one mountain. We're talking about mountains, plural. So we have the. Like if we did not have the S here or here or here, I wouldn't have used the. Can you imagine that? So the opposite would have happened. I'm sorry. We have another, case where, or one more case. I'm sorry, where we must use the also with the name. So, for example, with oceans, we must use the. For example, the Pacific Ocean. Not only the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean. Also with seas, but be careful. Singular. The Bering Sea, for example, the Red Sea, okay, the Black Sea. Rivers, whatever that river is. How do you know that we're talking about a river? Because the word river would be there. So the Mississippi River, the Jordan River, okay. And also canals, the same, the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, all right. Deserts, for example, the Sahara Desert, the Arizona Desert, etc. All righty. Let's move on to the next section. And the next section is, you know, this section is about when sometimes we don't use the. So we don't use the with continents like Asia, like Europe, like, you know, North America, South America. All right. We don't use the with, you know, most geographical areas. And they give you an example, Western Europe. All right. But look at this geographical area. We use the Middle East. So you got to memorize it. So guys, you don't have to worry about, you know, the idea of, I'm not going to, I'm like, bring in the exam something that we did not discuss, or that is, you know, like, you know, something that is going to be hard for you. So I'm going to focus on these rules over here, and you try to follow them as much as possible. Most countries don't have the. Okay, so we have England, Jordan, Iraq, Syria, you know. Single islands, like when the island is, be careful, single, because we talked about plural islands and we have the for them, or preceded by them. So look at this, Bering Island, all right? And sometimes we even say Hawaii. Hawaii is an island, right? Yeah. All right, so we have lakes also. So what do we do? Look, Lake Geneva, Lake Monroe, and mountains that do not have the in the names, mountains, all right? I mean, singular, when the mountain is a singular, not, you know, a range of mountains. So we say Mount Everest. We're talking about one specific mountain, so we don't have that. All right, based on this, we have to be able now to do the exercise. I'm sorry that I've done the exercises, but I've done them, like, you know, before, you know, like 2 semesters ago or so. So anyway, we have this sentence. The Panama Canal. Why that? Because canal joins the Atlantic Ocean. Ocean needs the. And the Pacific Ocean. Again. So we have the before oceans, and we have the before the name of a canal. All right. Let's move on to sentence 2. This canal used to be, this canal used to belong to the United States. So look, 2 words, you know, like the name of America here is made of 2 words. So we have the. Then we have sentence 3, Kuwait. I'm not going to read anything here because, you know, it's a country, and we said that most countries do not have anything, you know, they don't have the article that preceding them. So Kuwait is near the, again, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia does not, even though we have 2 words here, but it does not need the. This is how it's just used, all right? You know, sometimes there are exceptional cases, as I said, and this is one of them. Although we have 2 words, as you know, as the name, or to refer to this country, but I mean, we don't use that because that's just how it's used. So memorize it. I'm sure you already know it. For Germany, you know, a country with 1 word name, it does not have an, you know, an article or the article the. Again, Belgium, again, and the Netherlands. Remember we said what we said about the Netherlands? You know, it's preceded by that as part of the name. Are in Europe. So yeah, Europe does not, it's a continent, does not, you know, have that as part of its name. 5, Lake Geneva. With lakes, we said we don't have an article. We don't have the article that. So Lake Geneva is in Switzerland. Switzerland, again, guys, is a country made of 1 word only, and it does not have anything preceding it. No the, not any other article. Then we have sentence 6. Where are the Madeira Islands? So this is not an island. These are islands. See? So we have the. And then we have Jordan, our country. Wow. Of course, it's not preceded by the article the. Jordan is in the Middle East. We just talked about this. The Middle East needs the as part of the name. And the last sentence, which is sentence 8, you know, the Amazon River. Rivers all get, you know, the as part of their name, is in, nothing here, South America. It's a continent, and so we don't have the as part of the name, all right, of that continent. So we're done with the exercises, and we're done with this unit. I hope you guys enjoyed this unit. I hope that it was fun, and that, you know, and now you can revise it. You know, you have the videos on YouTube. You can listen to them once, twice, as many times as you want. You can stop them where you feel you have to repeat certain things. This is what's so amazing about, recording these, sessions, and I hope you guys make use of them and that you do well in your exams and that you better your English as well. Now we want to move on to just, a small introduction of what we're going to take next time, guys. All right, what we're going to take next time is this lesson, okay? Let me show you. Let's, enlarge the title. Here it goes. Here it goes. We have, sorry guys, I'm slow. World population growth. So this is what we're going to be talking about next time. We're going to be talking about the population of the world and how it's growing, all right? So it's growing. Is that something good? Is that something bad? Does that have, some benefits, or, vice versa, are you with the idea of having, or a population that is growing, or are you against it? And then tell me why. Okay, so you can take a look at the picture. See, people are, in the streets, no room for any other person to walk here, as you can see, but we're still, growing as a population. All right, so we have these questions. You can just take a quick look at them before you read. How many people live in your country? So if your country is direct, please look it up, guys, and next time I want to listen to your answers. How about your city? How many people live in your city? Can you look it up for us and tell us next time? Then we have the second question. Let's think about this. Think about your city with twice as many people as it has now. Can you imagine this, guys? Like if Irbid had double the number of people, how would things be different? Oh my gosh. So please think about this and tell me, about it next time. Would things be different? Would it be the same? Would it be better? Would it be worse? Why do you say worse? Why do you say better? What differences are going to, take place? You want to have any children? Well, if you have children, you're going to be adding to the population. Like when you get married, do you want to have children? And if you do want to have children, how many? And I want to know why. Why one if you say one? Why two? Why three? Why four? Why none if you say no? Alrighty. So you guys have a great day. And inshallah, I will meet with you on Sunday. And this is the lesson that we will be discussing together. So please be prepared. Please be prepared. So I want you guys to read this whole passage. It's made of like almost, let me say, 2 pages. It's 2 pages long, and make sure that you know the meanings that are in bold, the words that are highlighted, whether in the passage or in the exercise before. And if you can, I would like you to start doing the exercises as well. And I wish you guys all the best. See you. Goodbye.